Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We're following breaking news in Edgecombe County, where an active search is underway for the last of 4 teenagers who police say escaped from a youth detention center.
And we have new numbers now showing just how many people cast their ballot on the first day of North Carolina early voting.
And it is the first full day of the North Carolina State Fair. Oh, folks, buckle up and get ready for a wild ride today. A lot of stories that we're covering here. Thank you for joining us on WRAL News. I'm Chris Levingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks again for joining us this noon. We begin with breaking news in Edgecombe County. That's where an active search is underway for the last of 4 teenagers who escaped from a youth detention center. The other 3 are already back in custody.
Now, there is a large law enforcement presence underway. This is around a Sheetz gas station on Highway 301. It's about 5 miles from the detention center. Let's go ahead and bring in WRAL's Destiny Patterson. She has been gathering information live at the scene. Destiny, what have you learned?
Well, right now I'm standing in a Sheetz parking lot. They have this area blocked off here. You can see the caution tape, but there are easily more than a dozen Rocky Mount police officers that are on the scene and several more in unmarked units. They've focused a lot of their search using drone footage, and we've seen those drone operators out here on the scene. We know officers have been out here for at least the last 3 hours. The Edgecombe Youth Development Center, as you mentioned, is about 5 miles from where I'm standing. Authorities say the 4 of them escaped yesterday evening around 6:30. They say Eric M. specifically was wearing a khaki pants, a green polo-style shirt, a gray sweater, and black shoes. Officials say that Eric M. has a history of unpredictable behavior, and they're concerned about his safety and the public. At this hour, just before this live shot, we learned that officials will be giving us an update on their search efforts around 2 o'clock, so that's just a couple hours from now. Of course, there's still lots of questions like how they were able to escape in the first place. We'll be asking those questions once we are able to meet with those officials here in a couple of hours. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Rocky Mount.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, we want to give our viewers an opportunity to get some perspective in terms of the search area and in reference to the Edgecombe Youth Development Center. This map shows exactly where the Edgecombe Youth Development Center is, located on a street called Positive Way. And just a little more than 5 miles away is where the law enforcement officers and other first responders are searching for that remaining escapee. As Destiny just told us, it's near Sheetz area. We just heard that from Destiny that the drone's up. We heard a helicopter as well. This is a story that we will stay on top of and bring you any new developments from the field and here in the WRAL Live Center.
I also talked with a Sheetz employee who said that they are okay. They're just right now waiting to hear more from police. A man charged with a Raleigh murder back in August is in custody in Wake County. That's after he was extradited from Arizona. Police say 39-year-old Samario Sevilla Cubes shot and killed 32-year-old Angel De Leon Andre on Navajo Drive. Police also charged a 54-year-old woman as an accessory in that case. The Halifax County Sheriff's Office is asking the public to provide any information you can about these 2 people on your screen. Investigators say 29-year-old Deshaun Taylor and 23-year-old Daquan Brown, they are wanted on first-degree murder charges. Deputies say these men are considered armed and dangerous, and they're believed to have shot and killed Lamar Lashley. That was on Washington Avenue and Weldon last month. Oh boy, it is certainly a sunny day, but plot twist, a little chilly outside.
It's a little chilly out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Garner is on the WRAL weather patio with a look at the temperatures this afternoon. We're going to warm up pretty nicely, Elizabeth.
Some absolutely gorgeous weather in our forecast. I'll tell you what, standing over here in the sun without a breeze, it feels really nice. But in the shade with the breeze, a whole nother story. This, of course, is a live look at the WRAL Gardens, and it looks beautiful out here. Temperatures this afternoon will climb into the upper 60s to low 70s, so really pretty comfortable. And then we'll continue a gradual warm up. It won't be quite as cold tonight as it was last night. We had widespread 30s on the map. We're looking at widespread low to mid 40s. That's still on the chilly side, but for most of us, it should take us out out of the threat for seeing any frost. So frost a good bit less likely overnight tonight and for the next several nights as well. We take a look at our forecast for this evening for Florida State versus Duke. The game is at 7 o'clock. Temperature 64 at 6 o'clock, 55 at 8 o'clock. So temperatures are looking nice. And of course, we have a beautiful forecast for the State Fair. 69 today, 72 on Saturday, 74 on Sunday. I'll show you how long we may see a dry pattern coming up.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. We'll check back in. It has been 3 weeks since Helene hit western North Carolina, and families are still looking for their missing loved ones. A Lee County family is asking for help in finding Kim Ashby. She was last seen after the floodwaters from Helene carried away her home in Elk Park. Her husband was found alive days later, 2 miles away, and the family is asking people who are familiar with this area to help them now that the search team is completely made from volunteers. Kim's daughter Jessica no longer believes her mother is alive, but she still wants that closure.
I don't think any of us have a lot of hope for that. I know I can really only speak for myself, and I know that I don't have hardly any hope for that. But you can't help but have those daydreams that bring you a positive result, right? And so I know that somewhere within me, I still have that hope, and that's just because we haven't found her body yet.
And you can reach out to Jessica on Facebook to get more information about this.
The numbers are in for their first day of early voting in North Carolina, and it's a record. Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is here to break it all down for us, Laura.
Michelle, yesterday I showed you those long lines and high turnout at voting sites all across Wake County. Well, those numbers really added up. Wake County Elections Director Olivia McCall says yesterday set a brand new record for the first day of early voting. 30,843 people cast their ballots in Wake County yesterday. That's compared to 26,150 in the last presidential election in 2020. That's an increase of almost 18%. Now, Wake County also had the highest turnout of any county in the state, and that's really saying something because the state set a new record, too. Statewide, 353,166 people turned out to cast their ballot. That's breaking the first day record that was set in 2020, which was 348,559. Now, election officials credit some of the increase to the gorgeous weather we all had yesterday. And of course, more voters have moved into North Carolina than have left the state since 2020. But it's likely also due, at least in part, to the fact that both the Harris and Trump campaigns are urging their voters to use early voting this year to bank their votes rather than waiting until Election Day when something could come up to keep them from making it to the polls. Election Day voting, or early voting, I should say, in North Carolina runs through 3 p.m. on Saturday, November 2nd.
All right, Laura Leslie, thank you so much for that. And former President Bill Clinton will be in Fayetteville tonight campaigning for Vice President Harris. He'll travel to several other cities in North Carolina over the weekend. Clinton joined Harris's running mate Tim Walz yesterday to campaign in Durham. Walz then headed off to Winston-Salem for another rally last night.
This is actually the first presidential election in North Carolina, which you will have to have a photo ID and show it when voting. You can show your driver's license, and other acceptable forms of ID include passports and student IDs. Registered voters who don't have a photo ID can get one for free at their county board of elections or a DMV office. Voters without a photo ID can still vote in person. You just have to fill out an ID exception form. And make sure you plan to vote with the WRAL voter guide, folks. You just enter your address to find a sample ballot, our Q&A with candidates, to check your voter registration status, and early voting times and places. Find all of that on WRAL.com. Just search the word vote.
Well, it is the first full day of the State Fair, and it's one that features wild rides and wild slides. Renee Chu and Jeff Hogan are live at the State Fairgrounds to take a turn on one of the most popular new attractions. I cannot wait to see it. Look at them. They're getting ready to go.
Well, listen, we better do this quick. Come on, y'all. Come join us here.
All right.
Better do this quick before we change our mind, you know? We're on the super slide here. Everything here is supersized, like this slide, the food, our bravery right now. We're 75 feet up in the air. We're ready to take.
We are so ready. There's a warning sign at the bottom of the ride telling guests to expect rapidly changing turbulent forces.
Wow.
Are you ready for this?
I told him to put grease on mine.
Okay, ready?
Just to see what's happening. Y'all ready?
We're going to be ready.
Make your
Let's
TV
try
debut.
The super slide.
Here we go. Ready?
Ready?
Let's go.
We're going to race. I'm going to race.
Renee's going to scream.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to pass you. I'm passing you today. What's happening? They're passing me. They're passing me. They passed us.
I came in last.
How'd that happen? How did that even happen? All right, so that's a 200-foot slide. I missed the last 10 feet. How was that?
That was amazing.
Oh,
that was the most thrilling, I don't know, was it 10 seconds? I don't even know.
Soft landing and everything. It's perfect.
I worked up an appetite.
Well, I think in the next half hour, we're going to go get some food. Cover this one up, all right? We're going to supersize some food, guys, and we'll see you in the next half hour.
Try the supersize.
That's amazing, guys. A for effort. I love it.
I
Go
love
get
how
some food.
they have the toughest assignment
The
of all of us
toughest assignment today ever. I mean, come on. Well, WRAL has your guide for parking, saving money, and when to meet your WRAL favorites. Our ultimate guide to the 2024 North Carolina State Fair is on the homepage of WRAL.com.
And we do have a look at your stock numbers here right now. At least the Dow Jones, it is down currently at 43 points for the time being. We're going to monitor that during the day and, of course, get you an update at our news at 4 o'clock.
Well, coming up, President Biden is in Germany meeting with the country's chancellor and discussing 2 different wars.
Next at noon, what Biden said about helping Ukraine fight Russia and what's next for the Middle East now that the leader of Hamas is dead.
And a restaurant in Texas showing off some amazing meals online, but don't get too hungry just yet. It turns out the food and the restaurant aren't even real. Why fake content like this is flooding social media and the darker reasons behind this trend known as AI slop.
And then later, we're going to talk about the new effort to prevent price gouging in our state in the aftermath of Helene. Happening now, President Biden just left Germany after meeting with Germany's chancellor in Berlin. Ukraine was one of the big topics discussed. The president talked about the need to continue supporting Ukraine in its war against Russia.
We must sustain our resolve, our effort, and our support. And I know the cost is heavy, but make no mistake, it pales in comparison to the cost of living in a world where aggression prevails, where large states attack and bully smaller ones, simply because they can.
The leaders talked about ways to help Ukraine's military and to shore up that country's civilian energy infrastructure. If you haven't been paying attention, that's basically been under constant assault and bombardment by Russia. President Biden also commented on the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. Biden said the death represented a moment of justice. He also said he told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to, quote, make this moment an opportunity to seek a path to peace, end quote. A top Hamas political official confirmed Sinwar's death. The group will not release any more hostages until there is a ceasefire in Gaza.
And we are hearing from One Direction member Niall Horan after the death of Liam Payne. Horan posted this photo to Instagram this morning. It shows him and Payne when they were younger. He also shared a message saying he is absolutely devastated and that he cherished the bond and friendship they had. He also mentions seeing Payne right before he died. At the time of his death, Payne was in Argentina to see Horan on tour. Fellow One Direction members Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson also posted memories of Payne. And thousands of people will make their way to the state fairgrounds to enjoy the food, the games, and the attractions.
Yeah, a lot going on. Pretty busy as we look live here right now. A lot of people getting on the rides, enjoying foods and attractions. As WRAL's Heidi Kirk explains, other big events in West Raleigh could cause traffic trouble for some drivers.
It's going to be an action-packed weekend around the Triangle for several reasons. Not only are people filing in for the State Fair this weekend, but there's also several events here at the Lenovo Center. Let's get straight to the schedule. Tonight, there will be comedian Jeff Dunham performing at 7 p.m. And tomorrow, a full-capacity crowd is expected for Sabrina Carpenter, also starting at 7. Now, if you're attending any of these events, you are urged to plan for traffic delays. Here's what you can do. Make a plan on how you're going going to get here, carpool if possible, and arrive as early as you can. Now, the Lenovo Center parking lots will open about 4 hours before each event and are reserved for event attendees only. Now, doors will open 1 hour before the event. Now, it's worth noting that both NC State and the Canes are out of town this weekend and next. We have lots of information on WRAL.com on how you can navigate those parking and traffic challenges. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, congestion already building around the State Fairgrounds. This is the State Fairgrounds. You can see the huge delays on Hillsborough Street right now. You're going to see some huge delays on Hillsborough Street as well as Blue Ridge Road as well. Here's a live look right now of the northern loop of the Beltline. There's the westbound lanes. That far lane is, those are the folks trying to get onto Wade Avenue, which gets them over to I-40, which gets them to Blue Ridge Road, where you can see they'll be trying to get to the State Fair. But again, if you're getting ready to head out to the State Fair, be mindful of the congestion building on Hillsborough Street as well as Blue Ridge Road, and give yourself some extra time.
It is already busy out there. Thanks, Ken. Well, sunny skies are in our forecast today, but temperatures are still cooler than normal.
Yeah, we've got Elizabeth Gardner there on the WRAL weather patio with a look at the warmer weather. I noticed you chose darker colors to absorb as much heat outside right now.
Yes. It actually feels really nice standing here on the patio right now. It's a little bit breezy, and that breeze is cool, but just standing in the sun where it feels great out here. We take a look at what's going on this afternoon, 64 degrees. So, yeah, that's cool. And our high today will be cooler than normal, but we do have a nice little warm up in our forecast over the next few days. Our dew point is 41, and of course the dew point is just the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, so it's nice and dry out here right now. No humidity. It's just this pretty fall weather that a lot of us look forward to. It's 59 in Roxborough, 63 Rocky Mount, 61 in Siler City, so feeling pretty good out here. Mostly in the 60s though, low to mid 60s from Southern Pines to Irwin to Smithfield. It's 64 right now in Clinton. Our wind speed is winds are coming out of the north, still at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but we are seeing some gusts. Fayetteville's gusting to 19 and Goldsboro to 22. So there are going to be just a few gusts out there if you happen to be around during the afternoon. We take a look at our football Friday forecast, and it's going to be nice temperature in the upper 50s to around 60 as games start. But temperatures will drop pretty quickly. Once we get past sunset, we'll quickly drop on through the 50s. So it'll definitely be sweatshirt weather, sweater weather, jacket weather. But we're just looking at clear skies. It'll be a cold night tonight, but not as cold as it was this morning. We had widespread temperatures in the 30s. We'll have a few pockets of temperatures near freezing. 38 in Roxborough, 39 in Clarksville. That's still well above freezing. From South Hill down to Goldsboro, highs will be in the low to mid 40s, and we'll see that too in our southern counties. Looking at Robbins at around 38, Sanford maybe close to the 30s, but for the most part, looking at low to mid 40s. So our potential for frost over the next few days is pretty minimal. I'm sure somebody saw some frost overnight last night. If you did and you happen to take a picture of it, go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, send it to us. I would love to see it. Frost is unlikely Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and of course we by Wednesday jump on up to around 50 for the overnight low. Taking a look at our big picture, the big pattern. High pressure is in control of our weather, still feeding that air down from the north. But as that high just sort of settles there, this air mass will begin to warm up. The high will start to block some of the flow of the colder air coming from the north, and so temperatures will begin to warm up slowly. If you're headed to the State Fair, of course, this afternoon, at 3 o'clock, 68 degrees, at 7 o'clock, 58. So definitely, again, looking at our temperatures cooling off pretty quickly. But what a beautiful weekend at the fair. 69 for the high today, 72 Saturday, 74 degrees on Sunday. So just feeling great. We're going to see temperatures at nearly 80 degrees by Wednesday. So again, we continue this warm up, but we also continue to have very dry conditions. It's quite the contrast to see what sort of rainfall we've seen in October versus what we've seen the last 3 months. I'll show you where we're looking in terms of records coming up.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Tonight at 5 o'clock on WRAL, a restaurant was keeping a roach trap on the same table they were preparing food. 5 on your side is warning you about the violations inspectors found at local restaurants.
And next at noon, a restaurant in Texas advertising some unbelievable dishes with jaw-dropping pictures online.
Yeah, but don't believe that. The images are fake. And plot twist, so is the restaurant. What's motivating so many people to post bogus content on social media, and why all of this so-called AI slop has a sinister side.
And later, why the federal government is rolling out new rules for a hugely popular baby product that many new parents use every day and also every night.
All right, folks, we understand. With AI-generated images floating around the internet, right, it can sometimes be very hard to know what is legit.
Yeah, because some of these look very real, but fake images are exploding on social media. Maya Eaglin has a closer look at what's being called AI slop.
A croissant in the shape of moudang, caviar-topped fish and chips, a buffalo wing the size of a table, and bread loafers. Offerings posted on the Instagram of what appears to be the restaurant's more than 74,000 followers. On its website, Ethos says it's the home of unreal flavors. Maybe because that's exactly what it is, not real. This restaurant does not exist.
They have over 70,000 followers, and every single photo looks like it's AI.
Those mouth-watering meals, AI generated. Maybe it was the Jeff Bezos behind the bar that gave it away. But people online are confused, many believing it's a real top-rated restaurant based in Austin, Texas. We reached out for comment, but chatting with its 24/7 general manager, Giuseppe Fusilli, is less than helpful. And trying to make a reservation lands you at an interactive image of someone slapping a man in the face with an eel. It's the latest example in what experts call AI slop.
An ocean of information all over the internet, much of it quite unreliable.
With thousands of pages on Facebook dedicated to posting AI-generated images and fooling millions of users, flooding their followers with hundreds of images, hoping to drive engagement. But why?
People are hungry for attention, and it seems like they will do anything to get it. Now, sometimes it has a financial motive. You want to become an influencer. Sometimes it's just ego.
While we don't know anything about the people behind Ethos, there could be consequences to so much fake imagery clogging up our searches and feeds.
It's a huge challenge if we can no longer trust our eyes or our ears, right? We are coming up against a very consequential election, and we've already seen and heard all kinds of things that just aren't true.
What are the best ways you can stay safe online? Stay skeptical. Whether it's a cute croissant or a political soundbite, some content on the internet is more than meets the eye.
As people in western North Carolina recover from Helene's aftermath, there is concern about people exploiting this disaster. We'll talk about the new efforts to prevent price gouging.
We're also talking about adult daycare centers. We'll explain why they could be the best options for seniors not ready to enter an assisted living facility or a nursing home.
And here are the winning lottery numbers right there on your screen. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
New this noon, North Carolina's Attorney General says his office is dealing with more than 300 reports of price gouging in western North Carolina.
So we brought in WRAL's Noah Klein in the studio to talk a little bit more about this. Noah, the AG's office is investigating each report with more expected.
Chris, we've been seeing this number go up over time. The Attorney General says his office has received around 350 reports of price gouging coming from western North Carolina. He says the largest portion of those complaints are over the cost of groceries, water, and food. There have also been reports about hotel rentals. Josh Stein says there's been a recent increase here in reports over those tree removal services, and it's expecting to see more issues with home contracting issues. As far as protecting yourself, he recommends getting a number of quotes for any work you're looking to get done. He also mentioned those reference checks, something like just asking a neighbor who they use for that type of work. And he says, don't pay up front because could be the last time you see that person. WRAL's Heidi Kirk asked the Attorney General what he's seeing. He says, well, a lot of people are stepping up to help as needed. Others are using this as an opportunity just to make money.
There are always going to be some people out there who see this as a moment where they can exploit people's desperation. That's why we have an anti-price gouging law, which we will aggressively enforce.
So we'll continue to follow this story as it develops. Right now, you heard the Attorney General there saying they're going to continue to investigate these. He says most of the reports are coming from Buncombe County just because it's more populated. We have a full list of how to help people over in Western North Carolina on our website. Just search help on WRAL.com. Chris?
Someone found price gouging up to $5,000 per infraction. Thank you, Noah. A 15th person now accuses a Lee County man of cyberstalking. Among other people, John McDonald is also accused of cyberstalking Sheriff Brian Estes, members of his office, and members of the Broadway Police Department. McDonald is in jail without bond, facing felony extortion charges.
Our county-by-county coverage takes us to Orange, Chatham, and Cumberland counties. We'll start here on Monday. Homestead Aquatic Center in Chapel Hill will close for renovations. It won't reopen until March of next year, and crews will be replacing 2 major systems at the Aquatic Center that have reached the end of their useful life. In the meantime, patrons and lap swimmers can use the indoor pool at the community center on South Estes Drive.
State transportation leaders are inviting the public to review and comment on a project proposal in western Cumberland County. Now, this would widen the entire 2 miles of Fisher Road. The DOT plans to expand the road to 4 lanes. A raised median would be included to reduce heavy traffic near 2 schools. The open house is next Thursday, that is October 24th. It is set for 5 to 7 p.m. in the gymnasium of John Griffin Middle School.
And Chatham County hosts its Trunk or Treat Fall Festival that's happening tomorrow at Southwest District Park in Bear Creek. From 2 to 5 p.m. there will be pumpkin carving, pumpkin painting, Halloween-themed games and crafts, a magician, bounce houses, a photo booth, so much to do with your family. This family-friendly event is completely free.
Now, Jeff and Renee typically would be anchoring today. They were like, nah, it's opening day of the State Fair. We want to get out there, hopped on a slide, had a fun time out there today.
Yeah, and now they're eating. They're enjoying some of that great food that the fair serves up. They join us live again at the fairgrounds. What are you guys eating? Make us jealous here.
Okay, so Michelle and Chris, super fun time. Yeah, we worked up an appetite. I need to drown my sorrows into some food since I lost to Jeff on the super slide. So here's what I got. Cotton candy mini pancakes. This is from Hot Chicks, Hot Cakes, and Chicken. They're based out of Apex, and this is one of the State Fair inspired flavors of their mini cakes. They only make mini cakes for the State Fair, and this looks so good. Okay, so I'm going to eat, and then you let us know.
I'll explain what I have here. They should only make mini cakes because they look amazing and delicious. So I have the cowboy bites. Okay, I started eating a little bit earlier because I wanted to see what was inside. I'm telling you, Ken had this before the Media Day preview. I had to do it because it's got Texas brisket inside, wrapped in all around macaroni and cheese, and has a panko crust on the outside and barbecue sauce with it. It is so good. How's yours?
Yeah, very good. Sweet and savory, the pancakes, perfect texture. And this is great for families. Like, this is very shareable. And that's kind of the idea, right? That's the insider tip. You can't get these huge servings and then, you want to try other stuff. So this is perfect to share with all your family and friends here.
You got a lot of pancakes there.
Oh, yeah.
I only have 3 cowboy bites, 2 now. But maybe I'll bring them back for Michelle and Chris. And if you're feeling left out, guys, there's a Birdman is doing his world famous show coming up. Okay, so a resident bird lady, Michelle will love that. And Chris, they're gonna milk the dairy cows here soon. So I saved you a spot for that, all right?
There's something for everybody.
All the food in their hands, I give it a 10.
It's a 10. You guys
Fantastic.
get a 10. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Have so much fun.
All right, happening now in the WL Live Center. Those cowboy bites, by the way, from Fat Boys Barbecue. So if you're getting ready to go out to the State Fair, you're going to run into some congestion. Look at this WL traffic map here. You can see the huge congestion already building around Hillsborough Street. That's the State Fairgrounds right here. You've also got congestion building there on Blue Ridge Road. At some point, congestion will start building on Trinity Road as well. Here's a live look at the northern loop of the Beltline. That far lane right there, that's the lane that's trying to get onto Wade Avenue, which will eventually get those drivers who are going to the State Fair onto Blue Ridge Road. And you saw the congestion that you just saw from that map. So give yourself some extra time if you're getting ready to head to the State Fair, because this congestion is not going to let up anytime soon, because there's some other events happening tonight at the Lenovo Center. So definitely get out there early.
But it's worth it to sit in that traffic because then you get to eat what Jeff and Renee are eating.
Tasty food on the way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's a big honor for former longtime WRAL news director Rick Gall.
He was celebrated last night with membership in the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Silver Circle. The ceremony was in Nashville, home of the Regional Emmy Awards. Rick was our news director for 19 years before retiring earlier this year. He spent 28 years overall here, starting as the Fayetteville Bureau reporter in the mid-90s. He has accomplished so much in his career, and we are just forever grateful to have had him as a news director.
Certainly, there he is right there, the stash. They put it in the video. Excellent. I love that stash.
Amazing. Congratulations, Rick. Well, federal regulators are imposing new rules aimed at preventing infant deaths.
Yeah, the guidelines target popular infant support cushions that many new parents use. We're going to explain what you should look for when buying them and allowing your child to use them.
Also ahead, what researchers now say about a popular form of birth control and the risk it might pose for breast cancer.
Because of the dangers that come with some support cushions for infants, new federal guidelines are being put into place. The Consumer Product Safety Commission now requires products to undergo firmness and sidewall angle testing. The maximum incline angle will no longer be allowed to exceed 10 degrees. The use of infant restraints will also be prohibited. That's because they give a false sense of safety for babies to be left unattended. A warning label will also be required on the product.
So important to make sure these products are only used while your baby is awake for tummy time activities and while the parent is aware and right there with the baby at all times.
This new rule will go into effect in about 6 months after its publication in the Federal Register.
New startling research suggests a popular birth control method may slightly increase breast cancer risk. A new study found a 40% higher risk of breast cancer for women who use IUDs, about 14 cases per 10,000 women. Researchers say the overall risk remains low. However, the study supports earlier findings linking hormonal birth control to a higher breast cancer risk. Experts stress the study is not a cause for panic, but recommend women consult their doctors to assess risks and benefits.
There could be a more affordable care option available for seniors.
Coming up, find out how adult day centers work and why advocates say they are not getting the attention they deserve.
Plus, the Girl Scouts may vote tomorrow to increase the cost of a membership by more than 3 times the current price. We'll explain why. Across the country, thousands of adult daycare centers offer specialized services to improve quality of life for seniors. As Jackie Ibanez reports, these centers, they're a bit different from nursing homes, but they still offer traditional experiences.
Aging isn't always easy, and as people get into the later years of their life, it's not uncommon for some to require more attention. But for those who aren't ready for residential stays at nursing homes, thousands of adult day centers around the country are helping to strengthen the social interactions and health of seniors.
So you're getting nurses, you're getting OT, physical therapy, recreational therapy, social workers, mental health, speech therapy.
Because these spaces look after clients during the day, it can give their family members and caregivers more personal time for work or to take a break.
Everybody who sees me raises their thumb to tell me how great it is that I insist on coming.
Adult day centers are also the most racially diverse long-term care facilities in the nation. Data from the CDC reveals 60% of attendees identify as a person of color. Many centers cater their program to the cultures of those they serve.
In terms of hours, it's culturally sensitive and culturally competent for Vietnamese, Korean, and Chinese seniors. So the food is familiar, the faces are familiar, the language is familiar. Imagine having to be in a nursing home and not being able to communicate.
These specialized offerings can help older adults feel less isolated, which can decrease the risk of depression and ease symptoms of dementia.
That was Jackie Ibanez reporting. Advocates for adult day centers say they are the most cost-effective health care options for seniors. The thing is, they serve the fewest clients of all long-term care settings, and that is because Medicare does not cover them.
Being a Girl Scout could soon cost more. The Girl Scouts of the USA are voting to raise membership dues from $25 to $85 a year. That's a 240% increase. The Girl Scouts have faced cash flow issues stemming from the pandemic, inflation, and changing consumer behaviors. Delegates of the Girl Scouts National Council will vote on the new membership fees tomorrow. And all cell phones sold in the U.S. will soon be required to be compatible with hearing aids. This comes after the Federal Communications Commission approved the new rule yesterday. The FCC says all mobile phones will also need to meet volume control benchmarks. That information will have to be included on phone carriers' websites. The agency has not yet set a specific timeline for when the new rules will take effect.
All right, so this morning you obviously woke up, a little chill outside, but the thing is, things are warming up for us.
Oh, yes, it is beautiful out there. Let's take it from Elizabeth Gardner. She is on the WRAL weather patio enjoying these gorgeous temperatures.
This is the place to be. I tell you what, it feels good out here. You know, I'm happy to have long sleeves on, but it feels really nice here standing, sort of halfway in the sun and halfway in the shade. We take a live look over the gardens, and it's just nice and quiet. We don't have anybody out here enjoying the gardens, just little old me out here. It feels really good out here. And of course, we are looking at a very dry period ahead. We're looking at the next 5 days, and we have 0% chance of rain. The next front that sort of comes close to us is next Thursday, so almost a week from now. And that one even looks like the rain will end up to our north. So what is causing all of these dry conditions that we've seen lately? The high pressure system that we were talking about just a little while ago is helping to bring the dry conditions. High pressure systems have air that sinks, and that sinking air compresses and sometimes warms but dries out the atmosphere. So as long as that high sits there, then we're going to stay in this dry pattern, and there's nothing really coming along to move it anytime soon. We do have a cold front that's back to the west. That one is going to slide eastward, but then up and over the high, and it doesn't affect us here. That high pressure system is associated with a fairly large air mass, and as it sits here, it will start to warm up, but there's nothing coming along anytime soon that's likely to kick it out and bring us any moisture. And that may seem okay. You remember we had a whole lot of rain July, August, and September, but so far for the month of October, only 0.02 of an inch at RDU and 1/100th of an inch in Fayetteville. So that puts us at almost 2 inches behind for the month. And, if we don't catch up, that may be okay. We may, who knows, we might make it all the way through the end of the month without seeing a whole lot of rain. At the beginning of the year, things were moving along fairly normally. April was fairly dry. You can see we had an inch of rain in April, but boy, we made up for it. July, 9 inches. We had almost 9 inches in August and over 12.5 inches in September. And then so October just looks strange sitting there with very little rainfall. As a matter of fact, for October right now, we're tied for third driest October on record. But ironically, for the year, we're still looking at potentially the second wettest year to date. We'll have to see what happens for the rest of the year, obviously. But boy, we had that really wet period. It's a beautiful fall day. The sunny skies, the dry conditions are going to be great for getting outside and enjoying this beautiful weather. Upper 60s to low 70s for highs today, and a chilly night will range from the mid 30s to mid 40s depending on where you are. But it's unlikely that we would see a whole lot of frost. Florida State plays Duke tonight at 7 o'clock. It's going to feel great. By around 8 o'clock, temperatures will be down into the mid 50s, and so we will see a cool night tonight. You'll be happy to have a jacket, and I feel like anytime you're headed to the fair through the weekend, you're going to want to have a jacket after sunset. 69 today's high, and then of course 72 Saturday, 74 Sunday. Just looks wonderful. Taking a quick look at the tropics, we're looking pretty good. That one area, 10% out there in the Caribbean, unlikely to develop, but the one near the Yucatan Peninsula does have the potential for development, but it's going to move inland there into Mexico and bring them some rain, but it's not likely to affect the United States. Look at that. By Wednesday, we could climb all the way up to around 80 degrees. That might be overdoing it a little bit. I feel like the weekend looks perfect.
It does look perfect.
Perfect time to go out for the fair, right?
Yes, so excited. Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, Universal Orlando Resort has announced the opening date for its highly anticipated new theme park.
You already know I'm hyped for it. That's why she looked at me right now. Still ahead, when you can visit Epic Universe in Florida and what you can do when you see. There's a Mario World. I couldn't even wait. There's a Mario World. We'll show you.
Mario World.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines that we're following for today.
Rocky Mount police are still looking for one of 4 juveniles who escaped from the Edgecombe Youth Detention Center. So far, police have found 3 of them, Quandarius H., Jaden W., and David B. Officers are searching near the Sheets and Rocky Mount for Eric M. They say he was wearing khaki pants, a green polo-style shirt, a gray sweater, and black shoes. Rocky Mount police are set to have an update on the situation at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
A man charged with a Raleigh murder back in August is in custody in Wake County. That was after he was extradited from Arizona. Police say 39-year-old Samario Sevilla Cabillas shot and killed 32-year-old Angel De Leon Andrade on Navajo Drive. Police also charged a 54-year-old woman as an accessory.
The numbers are in for the first day of early voting in North Carolina, and it is a record. 30,843 people cast their ballots. That's compared to 26,150 in the last presidential election. That's an increase of about 18%. Wake County also had the highest turnout of any county in the state, and that's saying something because the state set a new record